for your Q&A. Sounds good? Okay. Ma'am, I'm going to need help to switch the slides. Thank you. All right. Let me begin with this. Let's do a quick exercise because you seem to be a little low in energy levels despite having your breakfast, except for that one gentleman over there. So let's do an exercise. For those of you who are sitting in the other two auditoriums, you can still participate, though I'm not there, okay? And this is how it's going. It's a very simple exercise. I'm going to take 1 minute for it. All you'll have to do is, I want you to begin by closing your eyes, and I'm going to call out 10 financial institution names, okay? As I call out each name, all you'll have to do is just think whether you or your immediate family members have done any kind of financial transaction with any of these institutions. It could be as simple as withdrawing money from the ATM, okay? Or it could be a fact that you are having a loan with that particular financial institution. It could be a home loan or an auto loan, anything. Or maybe you have done some sort of an investment. Your mom or dad would have done some sort of an investment through those banks or financial institution rather, okay? Any kind of financial transaction that you're done with any of these 10 organizations, raise your hand, don't open your eyes, and keep your hands raised as I'm done with all the 10 names. Are we game for it? 2 or 3 are going to participate. I think the rest of them can leave the auditorium if you don't want to participate. Are we game for it? Shall we go ahead? Better. And you can drop the sir because that's not my last name. My last name is something else. So once you get into the corporate, you're supposed to call people by their first name. That's Arun in my case. I don't have Arun sir, okay? It's just Arun. That you can keep it with your faculties. Once you come on board, you can, you need to address people by their first names only. That's one of the transitions that you will undergo. All right, let's begin the game, okay? All of you close your eyes. No peeking. All of you. People in the other 2 rooms also can try this out. You might find it interesting when you open your eyes. So you can speak to your neighbors, your friends a little later, but I want you to close your eyes right now. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. Now, let's start with the largest private sector bank in the country, HDFC Bank. Raise your hand if you've done any kind of financial transaction, you or your immediate family members, your parents. Wonderful. ICICI. Don't put your hands down. Don't put your hands down. HDFC, then ICICI. Okay. Let me call out one more. Axis Bank. Okay, I'm going to throw in a bit of a flavor here. Largest public sector bank in the country. And please don't put your hands down. Please cooperate. State Bank of India. Show that you have had your breakfast, okay? Raise your hands all the way up. Great. State Bank of India, we are done. Okay, next one. Bank of Baroda. Okay, I think I'm getting a good amount of response here. So let me throw in another flavor. A couple of small finance banks. Equitas. No, you don't have to put your hands down. Keep your hands raised. If you've raised for any of those previous organizations, keep your hands raised. AU Small Finance Bank. Okay, not many. Another flavor. India Post. India Post? Okay, now I want you to open your hands and look around, look back. Look to your sides. Now you can put your hands down. Thank you for the cooperation. People in the other rooms also. Okay, let me have your attention. Why we did this exercise? Canara Bank also, yes, thanks for calling it out. There are many other banks, but I just kind of limited it to within 10. One common thing between all these financial institutions that you should be aware of is that they are all powered by Finacle. Their banking software, their whatever financial software that they've got, it is all powered by Finacle. So at some point in time in your lives, either you or your parents, their lives were touched upon by Finacle, indirectly or directly. So that's one quick exercise that I wanted to do to show you how much Finacle has, or rather, what kind of a dominant presence Finacle has got, not only in India. I just called out a few institutions inside India, right? But Finacle is actually present in 100 countries, more than 100 countries, all around the world. To sum it up, what I'm trying to tell you is, when it comes to the fintech space, if you're the kind of individual who's looking to launch your career in the fintech space, which is a backbone to the country also, right? It's growing at a very fast pace, and I don't think there is anything that's going to stop it. If you're looking to build your career in the fintech space, Finacle is the leader, without any doubt. We were the pioneers. We started off, we were the first, we were the first entrants in this particular space way back, roughly about 24 years ago. We're going to be completing 25 years next year. And we simply dominate the fintech space all around the world. When it comes to digital banking, you Google it, you will definitely hit on the name Finacle in any of your Google searches. That is what Finacle is all about. Now, how did we get here? It's always important, right? When you reach a certain level, when you become a leader, you need to look back every once in a while just to see the path that you travel, right? There are so many hurdles that you would have faced. You're just starting on, your corporate career in another year or so, but you should always look back every once in a while to see what you've been through. Rather than me talking about it, I'm going to play a video, which it's a 4-minute video. It's going to summarize, it's a beautiful video. It's going to summarize where we started, what we went through, and where we are right now. It'll give you a gist about the organization, what we do, and different accolades that we've got, and what kind of technologies that we use. Just a quick summary, a very brief summary, which I believe you will find it interesting. So let's start with the video, then we will continue. All good? Okay, Sir is not my last name again, okay? For those of you who want to know my last name, it's Sriraman. That's my dad's name. Sir is definitely not my, so please don't change it, okay, next time. All right? Arun. All right, so we'll play the video to begin with. I hope the people in other rooms can also. Ma'am, the tech person, I need the audio.
A story of innovation, transformation, and leadership in banking technology. Every great organization has a story. This is the story of India's first global fintech. A story of innovation, transformation, and leadership in banking technology. This is Infosys Finacle's story. Our story. We began as a revolutionary core banking solution. And today, we deliver a world-leading cloud-native digital banking suite. A suite that is inspiring better banking in over 100 countries. Powering 25% of global real-time payments, handling over 1 billion API calls daily, helping over 1.3 billion people and millions of businesses to save, pay, borrow, and invest better. So, where did it all begin? In 1981, 7 engineers started Infosys with just $250. Today, Infosys is a $75 billion global IT giant. In 1993, Infosys launched its first product, Banks 2000, which laid the foundations for Finacle. In 2000, during the dot-com bubble, Infosys took a huge leap forward and launched Finacle. From here, our journey began. A pioneer by birth, Finacle was the world's first web-based real-time core banking system. In its first decade, Finacle introduced several innovative solutions, becoming a leading universal banking platform for consumer and corporate banking. This era marked global expansion. By 2010, Finacle was a trusted partner for banks in over 65 countries. As the world embraced digital, Finacle led the charge with path-breaking digital banking solutions. From an omni-channel framework to wallets to data-driven analytics, Finacle kept banks in sync with evolving customer needs. For risk-averse banks, Finacle's componentization journey enabled progressive transformation with enterprise-class solutions. As cloud technologies matured, Finacle paved the way for cloud-native banking. Leveraging the 12-factor cloud-native CNCF framework, we enabled our solutions to run seamlessly on private, public, or hybrid cloud. We expanded RESTful APIs coverage across the suite and launched the Finacle App Center to drive rapid success with global fintechs. At a time when blockchain was still in its infancy, we pioneered blockchain-based payments and trade networks. Building on cloud success, Finacle scaled its SaaS proposition globally. To power banking as a service at scale, we extended our API Connect offering with Bayan APIs, low-code tooling, and a prepackaged developer portal. Today, leading Finacle clients process over 150 million API calls a day, most of which originate from ecosystem partners. With a constantly evolving microservices architecture, we power banks with next-gen technology that has proven performance and scale. We call it Next Gen Now. Our efforts have earned us global recognition as a leader by every industry analyst firm of repute. Our delivery teams and partners are enabling flawless transformations globally. This incredible journey has been possible thanks to our clients, partners, and you, the world-class professionals who drive our journey. As we move forward, we're not just adapting to change, we're driving it. Together, we're building a future for banking that is composable, embedded, and sustainable. We are Finacle, and we are committed to inspiring better banking, today and always.
Was that video okay? Did it give you a sneak peek about Finacle? Was it useful? How many of you liked it? This much, I half liked it. I mean, I didn't like it completely. Okay, got it. All right, put your hands down. Thanks for that. So we'll quickly move on to the why part, okay? Now that you know what we do, simply put, we are a leader when it comes to digital banking space. There are so many different platforms which are there within Finacle. So it's, simply put, we are a product organization. We're not a service-based organization like a TCS or a Cognizant, for that matter, Infosys also. Do you know the name of the organization? Can somebody call it out? Anyone? Which organization am I representing? Thank you. Edgeworth Systems. So, what I want you to understand is the very basic stuff. Edgeworth Systems is a product subsidiary of Infosys Group. So it was started off way back in 2014. And Finacle used to be a flagship product of Infosys, as you saw it in the video. When Edgeworth was formed, it was a strategic move which was made by the founders, okay, to have an advantage because the space was growing, the whole product space was growing, and we wanted to have an advantage in this growing industry, which is why we carved out all the products at Infosys and EdgeWorks Systems was formed. So there are two major business units within EdgeWorks. One is Edge, the other one is Finacle. Today's opportunity is for Finacle. And when you go online, you do a bit of a search, what you would come across is Finacle still associates itself with the parent group, Infosys, because we believe that there is a lot of value that we derive from the client side. You know, when you go tell them Finacle, they immediately recall Infosys all across the world. So because of the sheer dominance of the parent group, over the past couple of decades, we still retain that parent group name when it comes to the logo and everything, but legally speaking, you will be an EdgeWorks Systems employee, which is very much part of Infosys Group. Infosys has got about 9 subsidiaries. We are one of them. And within EdgeWorks Systems, you'll be part of Finacle. There is another unit called Edge. There are Edge products. You might have gone through the website if you've done it already. You might have come across a few products under Edge as well. But I'm not here to talk about Edge. I'm here to talk about Finacle, which is the opportunity, which is the hiring that we're looking to do for all of you. Now, okay, I'm not going to deep dive into some of these slides because it's pretty self-explanatory, or even otherwise you will come across all this information on the website. So I'm here to talk about the things which are not there in the deck. Some of them are covered, but some of them I would like to talk about. So I think I covered the legal aspect part, which organization you're going to be part of. Sir, is there anyone? Any of your faculty? Yeah. Sir, I need help with that deck, please. Thank you. All right, so coming to the why part, why should you be considering Finacle? Now, other than the fact that Finacle is a leader, there are 5 or 6 different things that I want to call out here, why you should be looking at Finacle. Okay, before I could probably jump into, this again kind of reiterates the fact. I know the font size is pretty small at the top, but I'll just summarize it for you. Hear me out. You see a rectangular box, which is red in color at the top, right-hand side corner in each one of these boxes. Okay, that is EdgeWorks Systems, basically Infosys Finacle. What we are trying to say is, when it comes to core banking, that's where Finacle started 24 years ago, core banking. We've been dominating, we've been a leader for the last 14 years, as per Gartner. How many of you have heard about Gartner, Forrester? These are research organizations, basically, which will rank different platforms all around the world, which clients can use to actually choose their vendor. It's like your CIBIL rating, right? When you apply for a loan, the bank inquires about your rating. It's something similar to that. These are research organizations. So we lie at the top as far as core banking is concerned for the last 14 years. The next 2 are about digital banking and integrated payment platforms. And the last one is corporate banking. Again, here, we are in the top 3 at least. We are way ahead of our competitors such as Intellect Design Arena, a lot of other product organizations. Finastra, how many of you have heard about Finastra? Fiserv? All right, okay, then I think I should probably cover a few of the stuff. So we have listed on quite a few competitors over here, and we are trying to say that we are the leader when it comes to fintech space. And just to give you an idea about what we do, this is what we deliver. We are present in more than 100 countries. We handle 1.7 billion accounts all around the world. There are over 1 billion consumers all around the world. Millions of businesses, 500 plus installations. The accolades is endless, guys. All right. Now, what you should really ask yourself is, let me begin with the basics. First thing, whether you want to launch your career in the IT space, that's number 1. If you want to launch your career in the IT space, become a techie, should you be working for a service-based organization or a product-based organization? I'm putting in the layman terms, okay, so that every one of you can understand. A service-based organization is typically something that will provide services to a lot of clients all around the world, within the country also, domestic also. The examples I called out earlier. Your product organizations, they sell the product or they sell licenses for the product. There are different ways of selling the business, but they work only on product development. Couple of differences, very basic differences between a product and a service-based organization is, the amount of technical knowledge one has to have as a developer working for a product organization is far superior compared to that of a service-based organization, which is one of the reasons why product organizations tend to pay more for someone who's got a decent amount of experience, and by that what I mean is at least about 2-3 years experience. We pay a lot. We hire them as laterals, not as freshers. Okay? So you need to ask yourself, do I want to get into the IT industry? Do I want to be in a service-based organization or a product-based organization? There are so many other differences. You can use your chat GPT for this for a change, and then you can try to understand much more about the industry. When it comes to product organization, there are so many different industries. Fintech is one of them. And if you just go Google who are all the fintech players or competitors of Finacle, you'll be able to see a long list. And you can Google it and see who's at the top. Or just ask ChatGPT, is Finacle a leader in the market? Very simple. It will give you all the information that you're looking for. All right? Now, when you can get all the information from ChatGPT, why am I here, right? I'll cover 5 or 6 different things that you will take away. So moving to the next slide. Okay, I'm going to skip this slide consciously. For those of you who are sitting in the other room, I'm going to skip this slide. This slide talks about different product offerings of Finacle. I'm not going to deep dive into the technical aspects because you know why? I don't want to do the talking. If I give you all the information, then what would you do at the time of interview, right? You need to do your homework. When you go for a meeting, when you go for an interview, you should go prepared. If you're planning for higher education, I'm sure there will be an interview, right? Once you clear the assessments, you should go prepared. So if you're interested to join, if you're considering to join Finacle, do your homework. Go to the website. There's so much of information which is available there, so abundant. You go through it, you will have a very clear picture as to what are the different offerings. So I'm not going to deep dive into this, but basically what it tries to say is we are a cloud-native platform solution. Okay, we have so many different offerings which are listed at the bottom of screen, and you go through about them on the site. So moving to the next slide, please. Sir, thank you. Next one. I think I'll cover you can actually keep this one. So those 5 things that I wanted to talk about. First one, if you're going to join, if you want to build a career in the fintech space, let's say that you do join Finacle, okay? The first and the foremost thing that you would obviously get exposed to, I'm not saying from day one, but eventually, is you get to work on cutting edge technologies, be it cloud native solutions or be it AI ML or blockchain technology. I'm just listing a few which is selling like hotcakes in the market right now, which a lot of you want to aspire to get into from day one, right? I called out a few technologies which are hot in the market, right? And you will get an opportunity to work in these eventually. I'm using the word eventually because when you start your career as a product developer, I can't guarantee you that you will definitely start in an AI/ML project. Simply because it depends on the business need. Not everybody can get into an AI/ML project or a blockchain technology or something into C++. You will have to start in a team which might involve you doing development using, let's say, Java. Or you could be a full stack developer. You could be a C++ developer, Node.js, so on and so forth. Or it could be you could be part of a project which involves in customizing the product, maintaining the product, or testing the product, or providing support for the product. So there is product development and there is supporting the product. So there are 2 different aspects that we have here. So where you start, regardless of that, at some point in your career, when I say at some point, you spend a fair bit of time, let's say about 2 years in the organization, you can always move within your career stream or you can move between other teams horizontally also, meaning you can explore other functions also. So eventually you will definitely get an opportunity to work in any one of these cutting edge technologies, or even otherwise you will, if you happen to choose the product development, you will be learning one of these technologies that I just called out. There are many more. Or you can also be part of supporting the product, customizing the product, maintaining the product, working with the clients closely for enhancing the product. Those are 2 different tracks that I will talk about eventually. But what you're going to gain out of it, cutting edge technology, learning that's number 1 that Finacle can offer. Number 2, during the COVID times and back in 2013, 14, okay, that might be a bit too early considering you would have been in school, but typically during the COVID period, you would have heard initially that there are a lot of layoffs happening. In fact, it's happening recently also, the last few months, right? I'm sure you're reading it online. I'm sure all of you would agree with me when I tell you that for any economy all around the world, the backbone is the banking industry, the financial sector. You all agree? Because without that, a country can't run. They'll go bankrupt, right? The economy will deep dive, the markets will deep dive. If the banking industry is not strong and stable, the country will be in deep crisis. Now, when you join the fintech industry, first and the foremost, the industry itself is a stable one. All around the world, especially in India for that matter. You see the stock markets, right? It's all-time high. I'm sure some of you are following that also. It's at an all-time high. Why? Because the economy is stable. And what is crucial for it? The banking sector. And within the banking sector, within the fintech space, if you get to work for a leader, you automatically derive the job stability part, which is number 2. And we derive this quality from the parent organization, Infosys, in many ways, I would say. And then that's one of a rare mix that you will find in the industry also. Meaning, Finacle is Edgewave Systems is fairly young. We were started off in 2014. We're still a vibrant organization. Compared to Infosys, if you ask me what is the difference, we are a lot more unconventional in our approach. We are a lot more open to change. We are a lot more open to new ideas. Lot more. I'm using the word lot more. All right? Now, to summarize, we have a startup culture with a blend of stability. So that's the third thing that you're going to get. So first one is cutting edge technologies. You get to work in that. Second one is job stability. I'm sorry, that's the second one, job stability. Now, third one, I sort of touched upon this point earlier. That's your learning. You becoming a domain expert when it comes to the financial domain. How does it happen? You will not only work for the product, you will not only get involved in Finacle product, you will also get an opportunity to work for Finacle's customers, clients all around the world. What happens eventually? You get an international exposure. Naturally, when you work closely with the clients outside India, right? You, at some point in time, will become an expert in this particular domain. And it's very, very rewarding when you associate yourself with the banking domain in the long run. And I can tell you that because recruitment is all I've been doing for the last 16 years. So I know the kind of weightage which is there when it comes to hiring people with the banking domain knowledge, the expertise. That's number 3. Number 4, opportunities internally. I told you that you can move internally, right? Once you spend at least a couple of years. You do that, you will be able to move not only within Edgewave, you can also move within Infosys Group. It's very much possible. You can explore any projects that you would want to. Not necessarily that you have to stick to your own project or your own unit for that matter. Infosys, Edgewave both encourages learning and growth opportunities for people so that you don't get bored like some of you are getting bored right now. Right? So, anyway, if it's not your cup of tea, I'm not going to force you, but for the rest of you who are still paying attention, I'm going to spend my time on them, which is absolutely fine, and I totally get it. So, number 4 is in terms of the learning and growth opportunities that you will find, because we invest a lot when it comes to learning. There is a dedicated team, there is a learning and development team which is dedicated to train people. There are a lot of internal and external certifications that you get to do in the long run. And that is sponsored by the company. For example, Udemy, I'm sure all of you have heard about Udemy. You get access to Udemy. All of you as an employee of Finacle, you get access to Udemy, and all the courses are freely available for you. So that's only for the Edgewave employees. So that's number 4, learning and growth. The last one, all of you would like to be respected, right? I mean, we all deserve respect. From our friends, from our family members, from our co-workers, we will. I don't think anybody would deny saying that I don't need to be respected. I'm okay. Right? What I can guarantee you is, when you're going to be part of Finacle and you walk into a financial institution, say any bank, and you say that you're working for Finacle, to the employees over there or to the branch manager, two things are going to happen. One is you'll put a smile on their face. They'll automatically smile. Number two, they'll recognize. They'll automatically smile. Number two, they'll show you a lot of respect. That's something that you don't earn easily, right? So being part of Finacle, you automatically are entitled to, people's respect from the financial sector space. One last point that I would like to cover here is, when you're part of Finacle, you will not only be working with the brightest minds in the industry in your own team, you will get to work with different teams. You will get to work with a product management team. You'll get to work with a marketing team. You'll get to work with a pre-sales, a sales team at some point in your career. When that happens, you'll get a holistic picture about how the whole product works, how we present it to the client, and that gives you a lot of knowledge. So working with the brightest minds in the industry and constantly learning, that's the sixth one that I would like to summarize. Now, for all of you, including the ones who are yawning and a bit bored in all three rooms, I have one question that I would like to ask you. You don't have to answer. You need to ask yourself that. Once you step outside the room, after we are done with the session, you need to figure out whether you want to join an organization which is going to pay you, let's say 25 lakhs handsome salary, but then it doesn't give you a job stability in the long run, or it doesn't guarantee learning in the long run, meaning you can't move internally, you can't explore, you're stuck with your own thing, doing one thing and one thing only because the company has only one project. Or maybe you don't get the global exposure, or maybe you don't get the respect. People don't know. When you say the name of the organization, they don't know what this organization. You need to ask yourself where you want to be. That's a question for you. Ask yourself, then make a decision. If you're looking for those 6 things that I just called out, and for a very rewarding career in the long run, you as a fresher, the first few years of your career will have to be flexible, will have to be open to learning, and not make money as your number one priority. Because when you make money as your number one priority, you're making a mistake, and I can say this from my experience. You follow your passion, whatever it is, money is going to follow you. So with that, I think we will move forward. Some of the interesting stuff, I think I'll get your attention finally, all of you. First one, there is no bond. Let me start with that. Does it mean that I can join, I can take another, or rather, I can take up the internship training and everything and then, not join the organization? Absolutely not. We don't believe in the bond concept, people. We don't believe in the bond concept at all. I mean, we don't want to tie you to the pillars of Infosys. For the record, we work out of the same campus as Infosys in Bangalore, okay, in Electronic City. Similarly, we operate out of Chennai, Hyderabad, and Pune also, in addition to Bangalore. So we don't believe in bond, number one. Having said that, my only request is, if you have other aspirations, higher studies, or you want to appear for civil exam, or you want to take care of your family business, or you have a totally different aspiration to maybe get into the gaming industry, right? Or you want to become an entrepreneur. Could be anything. I totally respect it. You have my respect. But pass on the opportunity to your friend who desperately needs it for whatever reasons. It could mostly financial reasons. Don't take the opportunity and decline it later, because we don't have unlimited slots, right? Just to give you a gist, in the first batch, which started off, the first batch of Dayananda Sagar students and NMIT students joined back in August, we rolled out about 161 offers. We had 155 people joining, which is good. But still, there were 6 people who dropped out for whatever reasons, right? Location, higher education, family is not allowing me, whatever the reasons are. You should make an informed decision. It's not about me losing those people. It's about they denying the opportunity to their friend who needs it desperately. So ask yourself before you pursue the opportunity. So second batch, by the way, there are 200 people who are undergoing training, and this is going to be the third batch. One point that I would like to call out here, now that I'm talking about batches, is we don't have a bench concept. Do you know what is a bench? Can anyone say? not exactly result, but you're close to that. It means that when a service-based organization, like a Cognizant or Wipro or Infosys also for that matter, hires you, they hire you for a number of projects, forecasting deep in the future, right? You come on board. First of all, coming on board itself takes time. I think all of you know it. The date of joining gets postponed indefinitely. Once you come on board, what happens? You sit on something called bench. Basically, you're not allocated to any project. You need to wait for a project. So there'll be different people who will come in and they'll try to pick you based on their need, based on their need and based on your skill set. Some people might have interviews, but nevertheless, you'll get placed eventually, which might take anywhere between a few weeks up to a few months. In some cases, even a year I have seen, right? That is something which is followed in a service-based organization. How are we different? We don't have a bench concept, being a product organization. All of you, and I can take the first batch as an example, all 155 who joined, they underwent a 1-year training. You might have heard about it. They underwent a 1-year training in their 6th and 7th semester, learning all kinds of technologies, soft skill training included. They underwent 6 months of, 5 to 6 months of paid internship in their 8th semester. They joined on 1st of August, I think it was 1st of August, and all of them are working in the same project where they were working as interns. What I'm trying to say here is, we don't have a bench concept. From day one, you will be productive. You'll be working with the same teams that you were associated with as interns, which is what we are trying to achieve in the long run. Meaning, you as a student who's stepping into the corporate world are ready to take on. You need not be dependent on anybody around you. You get trained for a year, you undergo internship in one of our facilities, working in live projects with the people, and when you come on board, you work with the same people. You will be productive from day one. You will not be dependent on anyone. So we don't have the bench concept to begin with. So we also don't believe in bond, but having said that, to reiterate, make a conscious decision. If you have other aspirations, totally fine, pass it on to somebody else, pass on the opportunity to somebody else. You might be the brightest person in your class. That doesn't mean that Finacle is for you. Let me clarify that. If you have a different passion, follow it. That's number one. Of course, better brand recall, that's something that I've called out. Zero investment, which means you don't have to pay for the training. All you'll have to spend is your time, show your commitment and dedication, that's all. Nothing else. You don't have to pay anything. In fact, we will pay you during your internship period, which I'll cover in the subsequent slide. Are we clear? We'll move on. All right, 2 different tracks. These are 2 options that all of you are going to be having, okay? PDA stands for Product Development Architecture. DTA stands for Delivery, Testing, and Support. I mean, these are just acronyms that we came up with. But to give you a summary, to summarize what it is all about, for those of you who are wondering, PDA is all about product development, developing the product. DTS is about maintaining, customizing, enhancing the product, implementing the product and the client side. Could be one of those, or even testing the product. What are the differentiating factors? Let me start with the salary. I'll get all your attention. So for DTS, which is into development, testing, and support, delivery, testing, and support, the compensation is about 3,60,000, which does not have any variable. For product development, the salary is about 8 lakhs, which includes a 10% variable, 80,000, that's paid on a half-yearly basis at Edgewell. You also get health insurance coverage for about 9 lakhs. Right now it's increased to 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs coverage for you and your immediate 3 dependents. That's additional, that's over and above the offer. There is no charges for that. That's not part of your CTC, not part of your offer letter basically, it's additional. I think I have everyone's attention and some people are whispering. Let me finish. Have all the information, then make a decision, all right? Because your friend may not be able to guide you. Your friend might give you incorrect information. Listen to everything, make a decision later. First one, salary is more. Let me apply for PDA. Don't decide that. If you're good at any one programming language, it could be C++, Java, Python, Node.js, it could be anything. C, doesn't matter. Any one programming language, if you're good at it, go for PDA. But if you're not good at even one programming language, if you feel that you can't write a code, I'll give you a scenario, a case study, and a bunch of test cases. If you can't run a program, compile it, and throw the results, then go for delivery, testing, and support. The reason I'm suggesting this is because the selection process is different for both. Selection process happens in 2 stages, people. First is assessment, online assessment. Second stage is interviews. All right. Online assessment for product will be a coding challenge. Duration is 180 minutes, 3 hours. Okay. You get only 3 questions, 15 test cases. You need to write the program, run it, compile it. It should throw the desired results. That's for product in the online assessment stage. Delivery, you have an aptitude test, but also a mix of a little bit of pseudocode. You just have to understand the logic, that's all. You don't have to really write programs. It's objective type. 30 questions, about 90 minutes, 1.5 hours, and you need to score about 60%. So it's fairly easy for someone with absolutely no programming language knowledge. That is for DTS. What happens in interview? For PDA, you have a live coding round. There will be 2 interview panels, 2 folks, part of the panel sitting in front of you. You'll have to sit and code. Whatever happened in round 1, you will be undergoing the same thing in the round 2, which is the interview round. Same platform. The platform is called VCP, We Create Problems. It's similar to your HackerRank, HackerEarth, you've heard, right? So it's similar to HackerRank. For those of you who have registered on HackerRank, I'm sure you can practice and all that. You'll get a sample paper and everything later. But to summarize, you will be doing live coding in front of 2 interview panels, and you have to crack the test case that they are giving you, the scenario that they're giving you. They'll check your programming language expertise in any language of your choice. But you have to crack the live coding round also. Delivery, it's just face-to-face discussion about your projects, about your resume and everything. Whatever that you put on your resume, they'll ask you. All right? So it's going to be in-person discussion. So that's the selection process for PDA and TTS. So now you need to ask yourself what your strengths are and then opt for either PDA or DTS towards the end of the session. Clear? I'll take the questions anyway. Make a note of the questions if you have anything. So we can move forward. I'm going to quickly breeze through the training part because anyway you will get this information abundantly eventually. But what you should know is the whole training is divided into 3 sections, right? The whole learning experience is divided into 3 sections. One is pre-enablement. Before your online assessment, last year we had roughly about 4 weeks or so to enable students, meaning before you take up the online assessment, we used to give certain course material, ask you to prepare, take up the online coding challenge or aptitude. For both, there is a pre-enablement, which typically used to go for about 4 weeks or so, but this time, because of the tight schedule that we have, we had to visit your college only in November. So we are left with very little time. The learning and development team will get in touch with you, see what they could do to help you out. The exam, the online test, will happen on 16th November, Saturday. Okay? Instructions will follow, don't worry about it, 16th November. So you have 2 weeks time for pre-enablement. Coming to the main training part, it starts in your 6th and 7th semester. The entire training goes on throughout your 6th and 7th semester. Not during your classes, it will happen post your classes. Roughly about 6:30 or so, 6:30, for about a couple of hours, 10 hours in a week, you need to invest learning all these different technologies. So you can move to the next slide. Just to call out, this is for PDA track, right? So it will have certain advanced concepts also. This slide covers Angular, TypeScript, Node.js, Postgres, SQL, and the previous one. 6th and 7th semester, you undergo training. It could be online as well as offline. Offline meaning the trainers will be in your college. You need not visit the facility. We'll make it easy for you. 1 year of training you undergo, and then you move to the 8th semester. That's the 3rd part of the entire learning program. So we can move to the next one. That's the internship, which you need to take up. All right, it's a paid internship. Another differentiation between PDA and DTS. Product development, internship stipend is 20,000 per month. Delivery, testing and support, internship is 10,000 per month. Roughly about 5 to 6 months, it will be paid to you. So You get to do your internship in one of the projects. You typically will start with Finacle Core or Finacle Customization, depending on where the requirements are, and you complete your internship. So we can move to the next slide. DTS, similar stuff. You undergo a bunch of training, but here you start with very basics. You start with RDBMS, PL SQL, Java programming, HTML, and all that. So we can move to the next one. 7th semester has similarities between PD and DTS, but the idea is for, we will try to train you as a full stack developer towards the end of your 7th semester. That's the whole idea. For the PDA track, DTS track, we will equip you to ensure that you are capable enough to work in an implementation or a customization or support or a testing project. That's the whole idea of the training program. So moving on, next one. Again, internship, DTS, 5 to 6 months in your 8th semester. So moving on, this is about the training part. To summarize you, this is what you get. Hands-on experience working in live project, paid internship, guided mentorship, and training on banking domain, of course, which will be part of your internship. You will also learn about the domain. It's not just about technical training that will happen. In fact, sir, could you move to the next slide? You will also be trained on soft skills. There are 12 different programs that you will undergo, one per month during your 6th and 7th semester. And these are the 12 different soft skill programs that we have, which all of you will be trained on. Now, another thing which I missed to call out is, I told you that we are present in 4 locations, right? What are those 4 locations? Can anyone name? I think I heard all 4 of them. So Bangalore is where the headquarters is. Chennai, Hyderabad, and Pune. Typically, we would expect a fresher to be flexible in terms of work location, meaning once you get shortlisted, when you get the offer letter, you will have a posting, a location, which could be one of those 4. You should be flexible for any one of those 4. I will take on questions regarding location towards the end. I'm sure there'll be lots, which I've seen in other colleges also. So basically, you should be open to all 4 locations, be it for PD or DTS. I request you to have, pay attention for some more time. I'll try to quickly wrap it up. So for both PD and DTS, it's going to be these 4 locations that we have. That's just a summary of the learning methodology. You learn, you practice, and of course there is an assessment also towards the end, and you'll be given a couple of opportunities if you don't fare well in the first one, and then you come on board. You do an internship and then you come on board. What kind of training? Just a summary, just a gist of it, but you'll get more and more information as you step into it. Weekly assignments, multiple choice questions, hands-on evaluation. You should take up these assignments regularly. You should give a bare minimum attendance. You should take up your training seriously. All we are expecting you to do is you get yourself trained so that you can do well once you step into the corporate world. So moving on. So those are the things that we typically expect. On this side, okay, let me just call out. How many of you got arrears? Let me not embarrass you. I'll skip that question. All right? Been there, done that. Backlogs. Arrears, backlog. Okay, earlier we used to call arrears, but that's okay. Like I said, been there, done that. So let's skip that part. Doesn't matter whether you have any backlogs right now, but what you should remember is make sure that you clear everything when you get into your 8th semester, because for us to get you on board, you should have your final semester mark sheet, at least your online results proving that you've cleared everything, because there is a background verification which goes on, and we can't hire somebody who's not completed their graduation. That's a org-wide policy which we can't make an exception. So please make sure that you clear the papers and you come on board. Doable? Okay, the ones who said yes, I've got backlogs, right? I had a few. So moving on. All right, that's the investment from our end. I think I've already covered up on this. I'm going to skip through this, sir, so we can move forward, sir. Okay, sir, could you go to the previous one? Before you scan the QR code, take your phones and everything, let me take on some questions. People in the other 2 rooms, you make a list of your questions, I'll come and meet you, but this is your time to ask questions. Feel free. I'll be happy to answer. Anything, don't hesitate. Even if it's very basic, something that I covered already, it is still okay. Go ahead and ask. If you're interested in the opportunity, go ahead and ask a question, whatever that you would like to know. It will help you to make a decision. Go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand. Just go ahead. Shoot. That's okay, that's okay. I'll call out the question, sir. That's okay. Go ahead. I'll call out the question for everybody's benefit. No, sit on, sit on, sit on. Your name? Shashwat. Go ahead, Shashwat. Okay, Shashwat's question is, he's done a bit of AI as part of his course curriculum, right? And he's asking what are his chances of getting into an AI/ML project, right? Okay. Where are you from, Shashwat? Bangalore. Your family is settled in Bangalore. Okay, my question for you is, would you be willing to relocate to Chennai? That's fine? Sounds good. You may have an opportunity. I'm not promising it right now. But there are data science, AI/ML projects for Finacle, which are running out of Chennai, Mahindra City. Like I said earlier, you as a fresher, when you launch your career, you want to be part of Finacle, you want to work on AI/ML, blockchain, anything, absolutely fine, but have an open mind when you get into the system, because for the first couple of years, you need to invest your time in the project that you get allocated to. Simply because based on the business need, we need to hire people. We can't hire people based on their choices. But we have an amazing internal job posting program. It's called Fly High, but basically this particular program is exclusive to Finacle employees alone, not for Infosys group of employees, exclusive to Finacle employees. What we do is you spend about 2 years in the system, you're a decent performer, you can apply through this, you can move internally between different streams. Let's say you are a person who joined the DTS track, just giving an example. You spend 2 years, you do well, you apply in this portal. You don't need your manager's confirmation for this. You can on your own apply. In fact, it will be kept confidential. You apply in this portal, you take the process, you get selected for, let's say, an AI/ML project. You will switch from DTS track to an AI/ML project. What happens? Your salary will change. Your role designation will change. Of course, location could change depending on the requirement, which you will know at the time of applying. But you will have an opportunity to switch from DTS to anything. You will have an opportunity to move from a, let's say, a C++ project to an AI/ML project, very much possible. But on day one, I can't promise simply because it depends on the business demand. Because like I said, we don't have unlimited requirements in all the projects. Some might like a certain language, but I can't assure that you will get into that particular project which does that type of development, which uses that type of programming language, right? Be flexible, first couple of years, patient, invest your time, energy, then you move internally, whatever that you want to. Prep yourself in the meantime. Gain the domain knowledge, because that is common anyway. I hope that answers your question, Shashwat. Thanks. Good question, by the way. Any other questions? Go ahead, please. Could you elaborate? Any other requirements, meaning? When you say requirements, how do you prepare is what you're asking? All right, your name? Vinod. Thanks, Vinod. So Vinod's question is, I want to pursue DTS track. You told me that for PDA, I need good programming language. What do I need to do for DTS? Aptitude. You should be good in analytical, problem solving. You should be good in logical reasoning. You should be good in communication, because there is a verbal section which is part of the assessment. There are a lot of online aptitude, there are online platforms where there is a lot of sample aptitude papers. Take it up. It is not as difficult as a CAT, the entrance exam, but you will be able to, it will be quite difficult. I had a 20% select rate so far when it comes to the aptitude test, so far among the other colleges that we visited so far. 20%, meaning 100 people take up the test, 20 people cleared it. So you need to prepare for aptitude. Not trying to scare you, because it's competitive. We have to keep it difficult, right? Part of the aptitude test, which also involves pseudocode, you don't need to know any programming language, but you should get the logic right, and it's multiple choice questions. Got it? So you need to score about 60% for it, meaning 18 out of 30. That's what we will be looking at. I hope that answers your question, Vinod. It's fine? Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, please. Then I'll come to you. Go ahead. Your name? Deepak, thanks Deepak. Sit down. Uh, Good question. A lot of students actually ask us this question. Question is, can I apply for both DTS and PDA? Okay. The QR code that I'm about to display right after this, you can scan it and you will fill in a Google Sheet form. You will have to pick either PDA or DTS. Once you choose, you will undergo the pre-enablement with whatever limited time that we have. You will take up the online assessment on 16 November. 3Q coding challenge for PDA, aptitude for DTS. You can't change it after that because you've been specifically evaluated for a particular track. Once you take it up, it's fixed. You will undergo a respective interview. It could be a coding challenge, live coding challenge, or it could be a face-to-face discussion with a panel. That is how it will be. Once you choose, you will still have an option to edit within 24 hours or so. You can edit the form, the Google Sheet form. But once the form is frozen, typically about 48 hours from the time we open it up, you will not be able to change it. We can try and accommodate offline requests, but make an informed decision. You have 24 hours, think about it. If you want to discuss with your family members, please do it, but you can't change it at the time of joining or during the assessment period. But you can switch, you can move internally once you spend 2 years in the organization, which I've already clarified. That answers your question? Someone at the back, go ahead, please. No worries. What's your name? Renuka. Thanks, Renuka. So the question is, if I choose the DTS track, what kind of work will I be doing? Will I be doing marketing? Will I be doing something else, right? Okay. You will not be doing marketing, all right? So Finacle is a banking product, right? So there are two aspects of it. One is the development part. Once you develop the product, then you go and implement it at the client side, right? You do enhancements, you do customizations, and you can also test it, you can also support it. PDA is all about product development. Now, delivery, testing, and support. DTS is about the rest of it that I just called out. You will customize the product, you will implement the product, you will test the product, you will maintain the product. A little bit of development could also happen depending on your work profile, very much possible because anyway you're undergoing training for a full stack developer in your 7th semester, all that. I hope that answers your question. All right. Any other questions? Go ahead. Okay, Rohan, right? Rohan. Rohan, my name is Arun, not sir. And please sir, please sir. Okay, Rohan's question is, I become an employee. I mentioned that, I can switch between different projects, right, internally. And my salary changes, my role changes when I move to a completely different project. So let's say from DTS to PDA. I move from a maintenance project to a development project, or an AIML project, or a data science project. My salary changes is what I stated. So Rohan's question is, how often can I do it? Is there any criteria? I'm glad to hear this question because he's thinking as an employee. Typically, we get these questions from the employee. To answer your question, you as a fresher, when you join, 2 years is the minimum time period that we expect from a eligibility standpoint. Second thing, your performance during the 2 years, which means your rating. Okay? These are the only two criteria. You don't need your manager's approval for it. This is number one. That's the first time you apply. Second time, same criteria, but you should have spent at least 2 cycles, roughly about 18 months, I would say. 2 performance cycles, which will take about 18 months, get ratings, 2 ratings, then you can apply. So every 18 months, if an employee wants to switch, they can definitely do it. And yes, whenever there is a change in the role designation, the role that you're going to play, your compensation will increase accordingly. Not decrease, but increase accordingly, right? I hope that answers your question. All right, thanks, Rohit. Any more questions? I think I'll take 2 more questions and then we can wrap it up, if there are any. Because I need to meet your friends in the other room also. No further questions? All right, good to go. So we can put up the QR code, or you want me to send it to you, or QR code we can put it up. Okay. So all of you can scan it. Please keep it. Think about it. Decide. I have a few instructions regarding the QR code while you scan it. Please keep your ears open. Number one, what I've seen is people are filling the QR code, the Google Sheets form, rather. When they fill it with a lot of typo, right? Wrong email ID. Please don't do that. Be very careful. When you type a wrong email ID, you will not get the assessment link. You will have last minute running around between your placement office and your laptop. So don't do that. Please spare a minute while you fill in the form. Don't make any typos. I mean, there are so many other typos that I've come across. Scan the QR code, keep it with you. Discuss with your placement officer. If there are more, sir, we'll have to enable it. If there are more questions also, we'll be more than happy to answer it through your placement officer, but you'll have to make a decision in the next 48 hours. We typically keep it open for 48 hours, usually. Sure, sir. I'll send it via WhatsApp and email and all that. I think we're good. All right. So thank you for patiently waiting, guys. I know that it was lunch break and I took some bit of your time, but I purposely did it because that's when I'll have all your attention. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. More than happy to connect with you right after the session also. If you have more questions, you can drop by. You can catch up with me. All the very best for your studies and for your career. Okay? Thank you for your time. Wish you good luck. I think your placement officer wants to address you.
Be seated. All right, so I'm sure you got the A to Z information about EdgeWork and the positions offered, how do you need to register, and even about your future. So thank you so much, Arun, for coming here and also orienting our students. It was indeed a great interaction. I was trying to check if our students do have any QA, because this is one session which students don't open up, but I'm glad our students had questions. They opened up, they asked questions, and I'm sure you have got all your answers ready. So now, though you're in third year, your placements have started, and this is your first placement opportunity. I want each one of you to grab this opportunity and make your future. So with this, I wish each one of you good luck, and thank you once again, Arun. Thanks to you too for your participation. Thank you.
We'll go to the other two rooms in case they have any